Welcome back to Dead Good Book Reviews. I'm Judith and you're watching another episode of Overbooked, the series where I talk about every single book on my shelves because Lord Vetinari said I ought to do it and I really did feel like I had to. Today we are talking about Terry Pratchett's Going Postal. Some quick disclaimers before we start. I didn't buy this book, but I'm pretty sure that I encouraged strongly that my wife buy it because she was wanting things to read immediately when we left uni. So this is technically her copy of the book. I've owned it in various different iterations. Regardless of where books come from, nobody's paying me to talk about books and all opinions are my own. I'm going to keep this as spoiler-free as humanly possible. If you do want to go in knowing absolutely nothing, click away now. And I'll link the story graph for the book below in case you want to check out any content warnings. I don't know if I can think of any for this, but there we go. Someone else will have thought of them for me. It's not a particularly nice jazzy cover. I'll probably use a different one in the thumbnail. I really dislike these minimalistic Terry Pratchett covers, but they're the ones I own for this and for Good Omens. The Hogfather one is much more fun. I would love to own all of these Galanx clothish bound. They're not really cloth bound Terry Pratchett's. I would love that, but I don't, and that's okay. So yes, this is by Terry Pratchett. This originally came out in 2004, so it's one of the later ones. I would have been quite young when this came out. I think I first read it as a teenager, and it's probably my favourite Terry Pratchett. One of my favourites. We're only covering my favourites in this section of Overbooked because I don't own the Terry Pratchett books that I haven't enjoyed. In terms of genre, I think pretty much everything Terry Pratchett writes could be ranked under fantasy comedy of some kind. That's where I'd say this sits. And if you don't know who Terry Pratchett is, I'm going to encourage you to just go and look him up because the information is out there. So, what is the plot of Going Postal? Why, I'm so glad you asked. Moist von Lipvik, our main character, is a con man, but he's going straight to work at the post office, which is failing in the city of Ankh-Morpork, because the Clacks, which is sort of like semaphore, but a whole lot more than that as well, is taking over communications. The post office is failing, but Moist has been told that he needs to fix the post office or he is going to be executed for his crimes. Conspiracies abound. It is a post office-based mystery, adventure, fantasy city book is probably the best way I can describe it to you. I feel like trying to describe Terry Pratchett's books to someone who has absolutely no context for them is something of a feat that I don't believe I am capable of. I personally think this is one of the Terry Pratchett books that is genuinely funny. Some of them, and I'm quoting Justine's Scottish husband here, some of them do feel a bit like you're talking to a man at a pub who thinks he's very funny. There are some that just don't quite land, or that feel incredibly dated. This one, I genuinely really enjoy, and I think it's to do with the themes and the fact that I have reference points and I can pick up what Terry Pratchett's putting down, where some of the earlier things I don't understand them all completely okay. I love this idea of old school communication versus new school communication and all of this stuff that you can really feel the issues that Terry Pratchett was writing around in 2004 in like the early days of the internet. I laugh out loud at this book whenever I read it. I think it's just so amusing. So many of the touch points into post office things is just so fun. Like there's the idea of people collecting pins as just being a thing, not like pins as in badges, as in little metal pins. And the way that shifts from pin collecting to stamp collecting is just such an interesting idea of why people in a fantasy world would collect stamps. I just found it wonderful. It's so fun. And I think part of the thing is there's such a rich frame of ideas and references that you can pull from when you're writing about this subject, and it's where Terry Pratchett really shines, where there are these things that you can reference. And we all get post. We all understand the post office. We all understand business. We all understand well, we don't all understand con men, but like we can get on board with that kind of character. And you can pick up what Terry Pratchett's putting down, and it's really, really enjoyable. Particularly the setup for this book and the way that various post office things just get like a slight fantasy twist on them is just really enjoyable. I also personally really enjoy the romance in this book. It is a feisty, angry, blunt, cigarette-smoking woman and this disaster of a man, and I really, really love that element to the story. And if you've already read it, you'll know who I'm talking about, and if not, just know that it's a fantastic pairing. It's a really good romance. Terry Pratchett doesn't always nail the romance for me, but this, oh, it's just great. I also think that on top of having the really funny moments and the, amusing plot and all of this con man stuff, the actual heart of this story is very emotional and very lovely and just very, not just the romance side of it, but the actual what is happening and what Moist does as a character and how he changes as a character and the implications of stuff on the world is really, really powerful. And I think that's one of the reasons this book really works, is that plot, surface level, funny, fantasy novel, deeper level, commentary on technology, commentary on businesses being awful and capitalism generally not being a great idea. And I think that's another one of the things that I know a good Terry Pratchett book exists when it really makes me think. There's so much I want to talk about in this book, but I feel like there's so many things that I could just explain the whole plot of the book to you. There's some really interesting stuff with golems and workers' rights. That's enjoyable. There's this fantastic villain. He's absolutely wonderful. He's genuinely awful and just such a villain's villain. Oh, I love him. There are so many moments within this story that really stuck with me as a reader. Like, I can picture them happening in my mind, and that's partly because I have seen the Sky adaptation of this, which, controversial opinion, I don't hate the Sky adaptations of the Terry Pratchett books. Colour of Magic is pants, but that's because Colour of Magic isn't an actual book. It's just a travel guide with bits in the middle. But Going Postal and The Hogfather, the Sky adaptations are worth watching, and I can picture those in my brain always. So why might you not want to read this? If you are a person who never gets on with Terry Pratchett's sense of humour or his writing style, this isn't going to be for you. That's a fairly obvious one. I think that while this is one of the ones that I would be more keen to recommend people, because I think it's really accessible and really enjoyable in a way that some of the others are less so, I still don't think if you've read enough of them to know that they're not for you, this isn't going to change your mind. I also said that this isn't as dated as some of the other ones. I think that that's, you know, it's still 2004. There's still a few moments where you're like, questionable, and there are fewer female characters than there might be otherwise, but that doesn't make it not enjoyable. I just think that you have to read this knowing it was 2004. And lastly, I'll just say that this ruined most other Terry Pratchett that wasn't this. Before I read this, I was kind of like, oh, I like Terry Pratchett a lot. Like, I've read a few of them. And then I read this and I was like, oh, did I really like all the other ones that I read? Because this is just in another dimension. And I also very much enjoyed the sequel, which is Making Money, which also follows this character. I haven't read any since then. And I just need to do a big Terry Pratchett catch-up, but I'm in the middle of maybe 7 different book reading projects at the moment, so Discworld is not high priority for Judith at the moment. If you did want other recommendations of things to read, if you're going to pick up more Terry Pratchett, I would pick up one of the other 2 books that I am recommending in this section of Overbooked. They are Hogfather and Thud. I've really enjoyed them. If you want other things to read that are similar, I don't have a particularly good example. Maybe if you wanted to lean more into the cozy side of things, something like Legends and Lattes has that. This is a real world thing, but we've put a fantasy spin on it kind of thing going on. Perhaps that would be enjoyable. Like, a fantasy coffee shop is quite similar to a fantasy post office in a lot of ways. Maybe. I hadn't ever thought of that connection before. How interesting. So do I think you should read this? Do I think you should watch the film as well, potentially? I think definitely read it if you're a Terry Pratchett fan, or if you are looking to get into Terry Pratchett. This is one of the more accessible books, I think. If you have a comprehension of what a post office does, you can read this and have a good time. And I don't think it requires too much knowledge of the rest of the Discworld, where some of the books feel like you really do need to know who the other characters are. This gives you an introduction to a lot of them in a way that's very enjoyable and will just get you tempted to read the rest of it. I haven't decided what order my Terry Pratchett videos are going in for Overbooked, whether I'll do chronological or just in the order that I get them finished. So that may be that there are 2 more videos up, it may be that they still need filming and editing by the time you're watching this, I don't know. But we're going to have a Terry Pratchett time for the next few weeks, so buckle in, it's going to be great. Have you read this? Do you have plans to? Let me know down in the comments below. While you're down there commenting, if you haven't already, please do subscribe, it genuinely does make me feel loved and appreciated. You can also follow me on social media, come hang out on Discord when we have chill chats about books. I'd like to say a shout out to all the ghosts on Patreon who support the channel and get early access to videos, live streams and bonus content. If you would like to join their number, that's linked below as well. Thank you so much for watching. That's all from me, and I will see you in the next one. There's gonna be some bloopers now. And I love this idea of kind of old school communications versus new school communications.